Todd Chrisley shared a video on Monday night, which was later deleted on Tuesday, of gospel artist Karen Peck singing 4 days late. He then captioned the video, "He's always on time," and added the hashtag fight the good fight. It seems like Todd Chrisley is trying to keep his faith as he reported to federal prison where he had been scheduled to check in on Tuesday. Before his check-in time, the Chrisley Knows Best star left his followers with a last quick message of fighting the good fight regardless of the 12 years that he is expected to serve. Finally, Todd Chrisley and his wife Julie Chrisley have turned themselves in for lockup to start serving their lengthy prison sentences. Todd reported Tuesday to FPC Pensacola in Florida, meeting his deadline to report to the minimum security prison camp, where he's been sentenced to serve 12 years. Meanwhile, Julie, who was sentenced to 7 years in prison, reported to a different federal prison in Lexington, KY Federal Medical Center, Lexington. This couple is serving time for their convictions in their bank fraud and tax evasion case. Back in November, a judge sentenced them to 19 years behind bars, with Julie getting a 7-year sentence and Todd getting 12 years for his sentence.
You know, I get so many requests every day. People saying, "Todd, when are you coming out of the closet? Let me tell you why I don't come out of the closet. Or better yet, let me show you why." Why would I come out of my closet, my cocoon, the place that I feel the safest? I also get asked every day, "Todd, what is the secret for you and Julie? What keeps the fire alive after all of these years?" Well, you know, in a marriage, you have to spice things up. You have to be able to sometimes bring extra things in to keep it creative. So let me show you what makes it work. Now, this is not for children, by the way. This right here is what keeps Julie all over me.
Todd, who has always carried himself with a diva-like aura, will be scheduled to 365 days of prison duds that include green pants, green shirts, white socks, and black steel-toed boots. He'll also be scheduled to the Joint's strict daily schedule, beginning when the lights come on at 4:45 a.m. daily. Breaks to serve from 5 to 6, and from there each inmate makes their bed military style by 6.30, making sure their rooms are spotlessly clean. The strict schedule could take a toll on him, but cleanliness won't be an issue for the self-professed germaphobe. These conditions must be part of the reasons why Todd and his wife previously filed motions asking for bail pending an appeal. But the judge denied their request, so now they're serving their prison sentences as planned. According to docs obtained by TMZ, Todd was set to report to minimum security FPC Pensacola in FL on January 17, and he did arrive in a Range Rover holding a pillow to his face. He's been set to wear his uniform, the green pants, green shirts, white socks, and black steel-toed boots. His workday will begin as late as 7:30 a.m. and end between 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. Apart from reality TV, which he obviously can't do inside prison, there are a bunch of gigs Todd could pick up while behind bars. Jobs like being a cook, a plumber, a librarian, a landscape worker, a dishwasher, or a laundry worker. He will be served lunch at 11 a.m. and an evening meal from 4:30 to 5:30, followed by mail call until 8:30. The compound then closes down shortly after, and lights are out at 10:30. A bunch of sports are offered at Tayat's facility, things like softball, flag football, basketball, soccer, and volleyball. Him and his inmates also have the ability to do weight training, music, hobby crafts like art or woodworking, and horseshoes. As far as visiting hours, he'll be limited to no more than 5 people at a time under the prison's policy. Family will be allowed to visit, and with approval by prison staff, the couple may be allowed to communicate with each other via phone calls and email, according to the Bureau of Prisons. Following their respective prison terms, the couple will each serve 3 years supervised release, according to the Northern District of Georgia U.S. Attorney's Office. We can all remember when the Chrisley family burst onto the reality scene in 2014 with USA Network's Chrisley Knows Best, where they were the Southern blonde answer to the Kardashians, wealthy and extremely tight-knit, with a dollop of bless your heart attitude.
Okay, and it's like, it's always, can I stay out until 12 o'clock? And I said no, because there ain't nothing open at 12 o'clock except an ER and legs, and you ain't gonna be signing up for either one.
The family consisted of the flamboyant Todd Chrisley, his wife Julie, and their 3 children, Chase, Savannah, and Grayson, along with Todd's children from an earlier marriage, Lindsay and Kyle. In an early promo for the show, Todd Chrisley, the rich, controlling but endearing patriarch, bragged about the money he supposedly made in real estate. He was quick to note that his family lived in a gated community outside of Atlanta and that they were neighbors with former Braves great Chipper Jones and singer Usher. The family was said to use more than $300,000 a year on clothing alone. I try to keep everything in order and in life. I have a certain level of expectations for my children, for my wife, for myself, Chrisley, now 53, said in the promo. But the family's wealthy facade all came crumbling down last spring when Todd and Julie were found guilty of bank fraud and tax evasion in a sensational trial. In a sentencing memo memorandum the prosecutor wrote, the Chrisleys have built an empire based on the lie that their wealth came from dedication and hard work. The memorandum continued saying, the jury's unanimous verdict sets the record straight. Todd and Julie Chrisley are career swindlers who have made a living by jumping from one fraud scheme to another, lying to banks, stiffing vendors, and evading taxes at every corner. Before their greed for fame and money, the couple had humble, wholesome beginnings. They both hail from rural Westminster, South Carolina, and their money troubles started way back before they even had a reality show. In 2012, Chrisley filed for Chapter 7, listing $4.2 million in assets and $49.4 million in debt. At the time, he claimed to have only $55 in a checking account and $100 in cash. In 2014, he and attorney Robert Furr told people that Todd Chrisley had guaranteed a real estate development loan and it failed. He was on the hook for $30 million. If he hadn't had that happen, he would have been fine financially. Despite the money issue, the couple still pushed through into reality star Dune. By the end of 2016, the Chrisley show was already in its 4th season and the clan's profile was on the rise, so much so that security concerns led them to relocate to Nashville. In Nashville, they bought 2 mansions worth roughly a combined $9 million and continued to drive flashy cars while their kids became podcasters and Instagram influencers with millions of followers. They continued living lavishly despite the fact that they had to switch money from one family member to another while trying to evade taxes. The Chrisleys grew so much that in 2019, Savannah and Chase launched their own spin-off, Growing Up Chrisley. It would go on to run for 4 seasons until Todd and Julie were convicted, at which point both it and Chrisley Knows Best were abruptly canceled. It wasn't until Todd's ex-business partner Mark Braddock gave the police his statement on the years of tax fraud crimes the two had committed that the Chrisleys were finally caught and sentenced. Although he had been a part of them, Mark was given immunity for revealing everything to the police. Todd was sentenced to 12 years in prison at Florida's FPC Pensacola, while Julie, who was initially set to report to FCI Mariana SCP in Florida, is slated to spend 7 years at Federal Medical Center Lexington in Lexington, Kentucky. Veteran defense attorney Paul Cambria told People, it's still confinement, but a camp is the best place to be. They're almost like a college dormitory situation. There's usually no fences or barbed wire or things like that. There's obviously monitors and cameras and so on, but it is a fairly relaxed atmosphere. Both Todd and Julie will be given more freedom as opposed to other prisons and will be allowed to move around the campus, so to speak. Cambria said, it isn't like they're locked in a cell. The trial also took an axe to Todd's reputation of being a devoted family man. His entire brand is built on him and his family, so when Mark Braddock testified that he and Todd were intimate for about a year in the early 2000s, it damaged his already damaged reputation. Chrisley has denied the claim, saying that Braddock resembled a toad. What insulted me the most is that, out of all these 54 years, for me to finally be accused of being with a man, it would be someone who looked like Mark Braddock, Todd said on a recent episode of his podcast, Chrisley Confessions. A fan on Twitter said, a Todd Chrisley and a Julie Chrisley have reported to prison. They need to quit their whining and accept their sentence. Hashtag do the crime, do the time. Savannah, Chase, and the others, including at Nanafea Chrisley, need them to show that people can act responsibly. They should be remorseful. Another said, on his first day in prison, Todd Chrisley is gonna step up to the biggest, baddest guy in the yard and surgically pick apart his style. Anyways, let's not forget that this video is based on theories and my opinions and should not be considered facts. That's it for this video. Bye.